There are times when I think I am the worst wannabe gardener I have ever met. I moved here a little over 10 years ago, and I have had grand plans for the yard ever since then. But most years, the best I can do is just keep the weeds that grow in the garden from spreading to the rest of the yard. I planted these English roses 4 years ago, and I have done very little for them, and to their credit, to their toughness, they keep coming back. Now this spring, I am going to try to do right by them and get them trimmed and fed. They started to sprout, then there was a freeze, and now they're sprouting again. They are getting very lanky, and I think they'll be happier if they are trimmed back. I have learned that I need very tough plants because often they have to teach me how to take care of them. I have a lot of respect for the thorns on these roses. They cover absolutely every inch of them. And oh, they hurt if they get you. Okay, let's give these a spa treatment. So what are everybody's spring favorites? I usually like to watch the 2020 Emma this time of year. I think Jane Austen and springtime just go hand in hand. There is a movie called This Beautiful Fantastic, and I found out about this movie through another YouTube channel called Darling Desi. You've probably heard of that one. And it's a gardening movie, and there's a scene in it where the girl is laying in the dirt, exhausted, and the guy who's teaching her walks up to her and picks up this clump of roots and says, "What is this?" And she says, "It's dirt." And he says, "It's roots, and if you don't get the roots out of the dirt, the weeds will come back." And I can relate to that so much because that has basically been my forever fight with every time I have ever tried to garden. As for YouTube channels, there is one that I love. I started watching her in 2020, as with many YouTube channels, and it is Jeri Landers of Hop Along Hollow. I aspire to be this woman when I am her age. She has the most charming gardening channel. She does all kinds of seedlings and plants, and she draws and writes children's books, as well as does some of the most adorable felted critters. She also has a lot of farm wildlife, donkeys, peacocks, big dogs, and chickens. And she has the most charming antique house with a lot of antique tools in it, like very, very old kitchen appliances. And she will take you on a tour of those. Another one I found recently is all the Feral Fawns. She's got a very lovely barn that is converted to a house. It's over 100 years old, I think. And she does a lot of planting and gardening and growing her own herbs and flowers in her vlogs too. Oh, and I remembered the other YouTube channel I was trying to remember. It's called Take 30 Plants. I found this one recently as well, and I absolutely love the lady who runs the channel. I cannot think of her name right now. I will put it on the screen. But I love her personality. She is another one that I would aspire to be at that age. She has an adorable little cottage in France, where she has lots of farm animals as well. I do not have any desire to have a lot of farm animals, although I keep mentioning them in these videos. I would just like to have a nice garden. I don't even want to grow food. I just want to grow nice flowers. Just something to walk around in and enjoy. I've got everything trimmed pretty well. Hopefully they don't die. Now the next step is to get rid of a lot of the weeds that are growing around the roots and then feed them. Well, the sun is gone, and my neighbors have this cute little, like, personal use size digger backhoe that they're running around in their yard with. I could use that right now. This has been pretty physical. I am not completely done. Gosh, I didn't expect to be this tired. I mean, I'll hike 15 miles, I'll go to the gym, lift heavy weights, but this digging has completely wiped me out. It hasn't even been that many hours. Oh gosh, but yeah, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna get some tea, I'm gonna have supper. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do tomorrow because it's supposed to rain. But maybe it won't rain in the beginning of the day, so perhaps I can at least finish digging out all of these grasses and roots. But everything's looking good so far. Almost ready to feed them. Like I said, I hope they don't die. I hope they'll be happy. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, it is not exactly tomorrow. It has been a full week since I last recorded. My schedule and energy level just went all sideways. But today it is nice and cool and cloudy, and although it would be the perfect day to stay inside with a cup of tea and a sketchbook, I don't really want to pass up this day for gardening. So I thought today would be the perfect day to introduce you to my groundhog. I have a resident groundhog who has lived here for 2 years. Last year she blessed this planet with 4 adorable babies. I am sure she is working on 4 or more as we speak, but as you can see, I don't particularly want her to be using this hole. This is usually where I keep my garden hose, and I found that as long as I kind of put the garden hose and the holder out, she leaves this hole alone, doesn't try to dig it back up again. Although I have twice tried to cover and fill in this hole, and this has been a battle of wills, and it's so far one that she is winning. But at least this time she didn't take out this post and knock the fence over, so maybe we can come to a compromise there. She has 2 other very large holes that she can come and go from over there, but for some reason she loves to use this one the most. And it is not my preference. I don't really mind a groundhog. She does eat everything that I plant. It's kind of the problem. But even if she would make her home like at the back fence or some of the trees out there, that would be just fine. But no, she's got to make it kind of under where my garage is. But anyway, I think that will be my first thing to tackle today, just kind of a warm up to some of the bigger projects that I need to do in the yard. And well, let's start with that. All right, I've got those holes sorted. I'm hoping the amount of brick chunks I put in there might make a statement, but I kind of doubt they will. But as I said, she does have these. She has this hole, and she has the other entrance over there. So kind of hoping that she doesn't feel like she needs to use this so much. But now that I have those holes filled in, I think I'm just gonna clean up a little bit around here, and then, I don't know, it's getting kind of hot for me, so I might just take a short break and figure out what to do next. Let's see how well the hose has weathered winter in the garage. These stretchy hoses are the best invention. I've always had the stiff hoses. Those are an absolute pain. This one is just so lightweight. I never want to have anything else besides a hose like this. Okay, let's hope for no leaks. Works. Excellent, we are in business. Easter candy, hot tea. Not quite desperate enough to go for iced tea just yet. Well, it's going pretty good. It feels so nice to have the hose out again. I can finally just spray off all the dirt and dust and mud that is on everything. I gave the roses a good soaking, so they really haven't had any good amount of water since I fed them. It's just not rained at all. And so now that they have nourishment and hydration, hopefully they will bounce back. I did look closely at them, and there may be some of the tiniest little buds of them coming back. So hopefully they will do well this year. And yeah, everything else is looking good. I would love to plant some sunflowers in the dirt where I have cleared out or refilled the groundhog holes. We'll see if that holds, but it would be so nice to have something that's kind of tall that I can look out the window and see like just above the windowsill. I would have very little hope of sunflower seeds surviving the critters that come through here. Well, I hope this egg picks me up well enough, because I am looking at my next thing I'm going to tackle before calling it a day. And by all means, if you want to refresh your cup of tea and give me some energy, I could use it. It's just one of those chocolate cream chocolate eggs instead of the one with like the white, the fake white yolk and stuff. I like these. This has gone on long enough. Hello. It has been maybe 2 months since I last recorded any garden progress. Today is probably the one and only day of the rest of the growing season that I will have a chance to do any of this very physically intensive work, because it is actually only about 75, a little bit breezy, a little bit partly cloudy. And tomorrow it is just going to go straight back up into the 80s and humid and probably stay there for the rest of the summer. So if I don't do this today, I won't be doing this. But yesterday I got out and dug a little bit back there in the dirt just to kind of warm up to it, and that felt pretty good. But I want to smooth it out. And then of course there is the patch that is just behind the camera that I want to plant wildflower seed. And I'm going to try to get to that today. Well, I must get to that today as far as tilling the dirt. And then I don't know if I want to plant the seed today, because I think there are a few more things that I want to do in that spot. But I can level out and plant seed over there as just a way to fill in some empty space. But the big question is, I haven't started this in years. I'm pretty sure it will start, but how many pulls will it take? I'm gonna fill up the gas tank and then I will see if I can bring it to life. Oh, here we go. Okay, it seems to be staying running, so I'm just gonna let it warm up a little bit, and then we'll get to work. Okay. Oh, well, it's going good. I think I have been working for maybe 15-20 minutes and I have already reached my I am too hot and I need to take a break threshold. But it's taken me, what has taken me about 15 minutes would probably take me several hours with the shovel. And I was out for about an hour and a half with the shovel yesterday, just working around, and barely made a dent in anything over there. So I think I'm done with the tilling in that spot. I just need to flatten it with the rake. And I think that spot will be good. So, dripping. So yeah, short break to cool down and then just finish up over there, as well as maybe clean a little bit of this out. Oh, I think there's a rope in it. Goodness. All right, break taken. Got some electrolytes, some cold water. Got the rake out. So it's time to finish that side. This box of seed might be 20 years old. I have no idea if any of this is viable anymore. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's about 20 years old. Sell by 1207. Don't know. So I am sure that '07 is 2007. But if this doesn't work, I will come up with another plan. Even if that means covering this area in just garden fabric so that I don't get another invasion of crabgrass until next year, till I figure something out again. But for now, we're going to try this. I suppose in 10 to 12 days I will know if anything is working. It says covers 2,000 square feet, and I have probably used it to cover maybe 50 square feet or less. Well, I've changed clothes. Let's make a smoothie and talk some thoughts. Got a date to add, some vanilla protein powder, and I got this smoothie pack. We've got blueberries, red grapes, dark sweet cherries, beets, and turmeric. The beets aren't too overwhelming. It's actually very good. This is really good. So I have decided I am just going to leave that big open area as it is right now. I'm not going to try to till it. I'm not going to try to plant it. It's got a good ground cover of wild strawberry and clover, and that is keeping a lot of the crabgrass and things that are really difficult to deal with away. And I'm sure if I till it, I will probably just have an infestation of crabgrass like I usually do with this kind of work. Right now I just don't have a very good plan for that space, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. It's really kind of too much for me to bite off right now. Even today, where the temperature was 75, humidity not bad, there was a slight breeze, mostly cloudy, and the heat was still too much for me. Yeah, you wouldn't know about that, Bergamot. You get to be an indoor kitty. Yeah, you do. You don't have to worry about being overheated. So I am going to concentrate on the plants that I have right now and the spaces that I have going right now. That is plenty for me to deal with for the summer. I was starting to get really depressed because I had this ambition of working on that area this year, and as each week went by, as the month went by, and as another month went by, and I still didn't do anything, I was starting to just feel more and more lousy about my ability to get things done. So when I was standing out there looking at it, I just decided I am going to take this off my list for this year, and I feel very good about that. I don't need to be making myself feel bad about things that I can't get done around the yard or the house. Show everyone your butt. All right. So I felt a lot better after I'd made that decision, and I am excited about this little side garden. Now that I've got it tilled nicely and it's kind of reset, if these seeds don't take, I will get some more seed and just see what will work for the rest of the season. But since it has taken me so long to finally get back outside, I can at least give you an update on the roses and everything else going on. So I'm gonna finish this smoothie and then we can go outside and have a look at them. I am happy to say the roses did not die. They have come back pretty full and fluffy. Only one of them is a little bit struggling. They've just finished their first bloom cycle, and I've been deadheading them pretty aggressively this time. Normally I would just cut off just the bud or the deadhead, but this time I've been cutting them back pretty extreme each time. Mine have a habit of growing these long, spindly canes. One of them is doing that right now, so I'll show you an example of that. But since they have just finished their bloom cycle, it is time to feed them again, so I'm gonna prepare them some food. I got some of this rose booster by Farmer's Secret. I've never tried it before. It's pretty concentrated. It takes 2 capfuls per gallon, and I'm filling a 5-gallon bucket. Well, that was only enough for one side, but fortunately I have more food, so I'm gonna make another batch. I really wish you could see the behind the scenes of this right now. I think I might have to take a picture or something. This is what I do when the lens is not wide enough for me to hold the camera at arm's length. Instructions for that food says to do that once a week, so it might not have seemed like very much food for each rose, but over time I think it builds up. But anyway, this is kind of what they like to do. As you can see, this one has shot out a very long singular cane, and it just kind of flops over. So it seems like they all do that. So once this blooms, I will probably cut it back to the height of the rest of the bush. I don't think I've even showed the space that I keep moaning and groaning about throughout this video. But here it is. It's maybe 10 by 12, something like that. There was a deck here of sorts, and I had that taken out, and then there were plans to do something else with it, and then that person who was going to do those things was just busy. So it has stayed this way, and for now it's just going to keep staying this way. Well, that is the state of the gardens, so that is probably how they will all stay for the rest of the summer. It is far more manageable for me to just work on the small spaces that I have and just keep those going, because I can come out in the evening for about half an hour and get enough done in a small space. But when it comes to a large space, it is just so daunting that I put it off and I put it off, and then I just never do it. Oh, and the mulch I put by the roses is helping a lot with keeping the crabgrass at bay. Right now, all I have to do is just pluck a little bit of the crabgrass that starts to stick through, and it just comes out, and I don't think that there will be any new crabgrass growing. So I am very happy about that, and I am going to get more mulch eventually to put a thicker layer down over the top of what's already there. Well, I would love to know what you like to grow. Do you have just an indoor space? Do you have any spot outside to grow things? And if you do, what do you like to grow? What kind of plants do you like? I would have more indoor plants, but the cats will eat everything. And for outside, I just want to concentrate on making my roses as best as they can be. So I hope you keep coming back for the rest of the summer, and we will see together how this space behind me evolves. I look forward to seeing you again, and goodbye, friends.